Hey, welcome everybody. Happy Wednesday. My thought for you, just let your eyes close for a moment, because my thought for you is some of you might remember months and months ago, forever ago, it feels like, I used this metaphor. It's a Buddhist teaching on how we really come out from underneath the weight of our own thinking. But the metaphor is about a house burning. Right. And the idea is that as long as you are invested, the story is of a man whose children are in this, he has this beautiful mansion, and a servant accidentally sets the house on fire. And so the house is burning and the man's children are inside, and he's calling out to them. He says, come out, come out, come out. You know, the house is burning. And the kids are like, no, they're having too much fun. They're playing. They're having too much fun. And he knows that there's no way that he can convince them that, you know, that they're in any danger. You know, there's no way that he can convince them. So he promises them, he says, listen, if you come out of the house, he says, I will give you the absolute best, most magnificent toys, the greatest things that you've ever wanted. He says, it'll be yours, you know, your greatest wish. I'll give you what you want the most. And so the kids finally are like, oh, okay. Right. And so they leave the burning. Buddhist teaching is that they were promised really enlightenment. They were promised the recognition of what they were leaving, right, was the weight of their own thinking. The house that's burning is the weight of their own view of the world, of the material world being all that there is, the enjoyment of that being all that there is. And we enjoy that, right? The metaphor of that burning house is that we enjoy it as both pain and pleasure. So even as the house is burning, we still stand there and we watch it burn, right? And we can't look away. And so I used this metaphor before when things were at a very high emotional place. And my reminder to you, or my thought for you, is that we're still there. The house is still burning. It hasn't stopped, right? But we have the chance, as we always have the chance, right? Again, the promise is that if you step out of the burning house, the promise is that you're stepping into or out from underneath the weight of your own thinking, the weight of your own emotions, the weight of your own desire for there to be a solution where there may be no possibility of you solving this problem, not on your own. But what you can do is you can redirect your mind, redirect yourself back to a point where you're not just staring at the burning. So we're not at the height of the reaction where we're caught in the emotions, but we're also not in apathy, where we say, it's just too much. So in your mind, can you bring together for yourself the image of a flame? Right? Fire that burns, fire that transforms, but fire that also warms. And so the practice that we have is that we keep turning the mind, right, to a place that is a little bit steady, so that as things fall apart around us, things fall apart inside us, we don't get lost in that burning. We don't get lost in that collapse. We get out from underneath the weight of our own thinking, the weight of our own worry, the weight of our own despair, of our own anger, of our own whatever it is that is closing in on us. So the metaphor of this story is that the house is burning, but thank God that the house is burning, because it means we get out from under the weight of it. So as yogis, if you're conscious of this happening in yourself, you turn your mind. So that inner flame is one that illuminates, that does not destroy what is not ready to be destroyed. So we turn the gaze to that, the inner flame. And the inner flame is your strength, it's your resilience, it's your power to keep being in the world, but not stuck because of the world, not caught in what's happening in the world. And this may be your work for a long time, that the only thing that really matters is your ability to turn yourself back to a place that is calm. So you reduce that burning that's all around. The inner flame, keep your gaze there. This is the inner Drishti. My gaze is on the flame that illuminates, that is not destructive, but will transform. And you let everything that is tumultuous and turmoil and crazy in you, and you put it into that flame. Let that burn. All that wildness. You let it become clarified. And that clarification will either spur you to act or it will spur you to sit and be still. And that's what we call being on a spiritual path. It's not our mind that tells us we need to do this or we need to do that. It's that still place inside that says, this is what I will do. We clarify. More deep breath into that inner flame. And then bringing the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm. We'll open with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. And let the eyes float open. Nice, you guys. You can release the hands. Please take your hands to your knees or your thighs and start to circle your torso. Make nice big spirals. Good. So my other little metaphor for you with this fire analogy is that it said, I'm trying to remember exactly where it said, I believe it's in the Bhagavad Gita that it's referenced, where Krishna says, there's a lot of fire sacrifices or fire ceremonies that's done in Hindu tradition, yogic tradition. And he says that, that the fire itself is Brahman, right? The highest formless divine energy. He says the fire itself is Brahman. And what you're offering to is Brahman. And the actual things that you're offering is Brahman. And you yourself are Brahman. So it's Brahman, God, offering God to become God, to make more God, right? Move your torso the other way. So it sounds a little bit crazy to listen to it and be like, okay, like he's talking about the unity of everything, but it's also the reminder that anything that is destroyed is it's going back to the formless. And anything that you want to see new is rising out of that formless, and you're part of it too. So don't get into that moment of, and stay there. You turn your mind back to that place where there is so much space for everything to happen. And we just have to go through it. There's no going back, there's just going through. So you turn your mind to that big Brahman. And that's you. So you can be outside image, or it can be just you, that flame that's inside, still Brahman. Come back to neutral, cat-cow your spine, inhaling the chest up and forward, exhaling, curling and rounding back. The beauty of a yoga practice is that you can do it anywhere, anytime. You don't need the right set of conditions to do it. You just do it. If you don't have space to move, that's fine. You can do the asana in your mind. You can breathe, you can meditate. You can just turn your mind to the inner flame. And whatever feels like it is closing in on you inside, you offer it to that flame. Let it clarify. Brings you back to your own sense of being more than just this limited body and mind that cannot figure out a solution to life. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Roll forward to hands and knees. Good. Stretch your right arm out wide to the right. Slide that arm behind your left wrist. Thread the needle. Right shoulder finds the floor. Walk the left arm forward towards straight. Good. Pressing into your shins. Nice. Breathe into the back of your heart. And really, again, the practice of yoga at its most basic is incredibly simple. It's always simple. It's pay attention to this breath. It's always what we're asked to do. It doesn't matter what the circumstances are. You pay attention to this breath. And you figure out, where is there a place of peace that exists in this breath? And it might not be perfect, where there's no conflict whatsoever, or there's no confusion. But you seek it. You gravitate to it. This is Drishti, inner Drishti, is that I turn myself in that direction. So even if I'm not fully in it, my attention is on it. Come back up to hands and knees. And then go the other way. Take your left arm out wide. And slide behind the right wrist. Left shoulder finds the floor. Turn your gaze. Walk the right arm forward towards straight. Press into your shins. And try not to get licked by a dog. Good. Many of you don't have that problem, so it's fine. Breathing into the back of the heart. Good. Watch that left shin, Emily, that it's pressing down equally to the right. Good. And then slowly release, come back up to hands and knees. Nice. Take your right thigh or your right knee in front of your left knee. So you're crossing right knee in front of left. Separate your feet and then walk yourself back until your hips come to the floor between your heels. You can sit on a block or a blanket or whatever you need underneath you. If having the knees stacked in Gomukhasana doesn't work, then you can sit cross-legged, right shin in front of left. Or again, Kristen, you're perfect there on your back. Good. And then walk the right arm out wide to the right. Take your left arm over the ear, side body stretch. Good. So dropping that right hand. Well, actually, that's great where you are, Lisa, if you like using the wall that way. That'll work. Yeah, that probably feels good. Good. And then come back up to center, please. Go the other way. Left arm reaches out and down. Right arm comes over the ear, extend. So Andrew, walk your left hand out further away from your hips so that you can drop a little bit deeper in. Good. Nice. Right butt cheek pushes down to the floor. Nice, Mark. Good. And then come back up to center, please. Walk forward if the knees will allow. If not, fingertips right behind you, lifting the chest up. And maybe a little bit of a lift of your throat. So it's almost like you're leaning back into your hands, but keep your butt rooted to the floor or to your props. So Emily, take your hands back behind your hips instead of forward. I couldn't tell which one you were doing there. Good. And then come all the way back up, please. Nice. So we're going to switch to the other side. So Kristen, you can stay on your back if you want. But for the rest of you, bring your hands to the outside of your left hip. Yep. And you're walking around as you lift your hips, pause at the back of your mat, facing the back of your mat with your legs straight, forward fold. Just keep walking your hands to the left, pause at the back of your mat, straighten the legs, forward fold. Good. And then continue to walk to your left. Yep, same direction. Keep walking, turn your toes, and then your left knee will find the floor. Sorry, your right knee will find the floor. Your left leg will stack on top. So you're back in the same pose, second side. And if that's not what happened, then face the top of your mat, cross your left knee on top of your right, and pretend you got there the fancy way. Good. Left arm walks out wide to the left. Right arm comes over your ear, side body stretch. Nice. Good. But Drishti is one of these very simple concepts we have in yoga, or it sounds very simple when we hear it initially. Like it makes total sense. It's just where your gaze is. Right? What I'm looking at. And we usually talk about it with balance, right? Where are you looking? Staring at one place. Come back up to center. Go the other way. Right arm extends out wide to the right. Left arm extends over your ear. So Mark, walk your right hand out a little bit more. So again, you can drop deeper in. Good. But Drishti is not just where your external eyes are looking, right? It's where your mind is looking. It's where your attention is placed. Because if your attention, inward attention, is placed in a really supportive and constructive or enlightened place, if you want to put it that way, illuminated place, then what happens on the outside doesn't disturb that. Come back up to center. You can still participate, but you don't get disturbed, right? There's a difference. Walk forward if you'd like, forward fold, or keep the hands just behind the hips with the chest lifted. Good. So your inner drishti at times like now really matters, because that's what's going to help clarify what your outer actions are, what your outer attitudes become. So where is your mind looking? Where is your attention placed? And can you turn it in the direction of what is very illuminated, very uplifting? Even if you don't feel particularly uplifted, can you turn in that direction? At least look into the distance where uplifted is. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. Unwind your legs, roll forward to hands and knees, and come into downward facing dog. Good. Right leg comes up and back, down dog split. Bend the knee, take your heel in towards your butt, stack the right hip on top of the left. Good. Keep that left armpit lifted so you're very aware of where the center line of your body is. Good. You're very aware of balancing the right side and the left side. Nice. Point your knee down towards the floor, please. Good. Step that foot forward between the hands, lunge. Nice. Inhale, both arms to the sky, high lunge. Beautiful. And then take your hands back behind you, interlace the fingers, deep breath in, shrug those shoulders up, hug the arms, and then exhale, bow forward inside the front thigh. Good. Pressing that left thigh up a little higher. Nice. Good. Really let your right thigh go a little deeper into the lunge, you guys, and squeeze your feet towards each other. Beautiful. Now inhale yourself all the way back up. Release the hands. Take the arms all the way up to the sky. Good. And then left hand holds right wrist, please. Side body stretch to your left. Yep. Good. So you're stretching the side of that front leg. Nice. And then come back up to center, please. Good. Go the other way. Switch the hands. Reach to your right. Good. And then back up to center. Nice. Release the hands down to the floor. Good. And then take your right leg up and back behind you, down dog split. Beautiful. Bring that knee forward towards your nose, armpits over your wrists. And then shoot that right leg wide to the left. So underneath your left armpit. Good. All the way out. Pull it forward towards your hand a little bit more. Baby toe edge of the foot, roots to the floor. Turn your left heel flat, left arm to the sky. Open up. Good. Again, turning your attention. You turn the heart open. You turn the mind upward, energetically upward, if not directly upward. Good. Push into your feet. Yeah. And then bring it all the way back, please. Right leg up and back, down dog split. Good. And then step that right foot down to the floor, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank pose. Lower down slow to your belly. Rising up into cobra. Lift head, neck, and chest. Good. And then downward facing dog. Nice. Take the left leg up and back, down dog split. Bend the knee, take your heel in towards your butt, stack the left hip on top of the right. Beautiful. Good. Again, balancing right and left side. So don't let your right heel fly open to the side because you're lifting your left hip. Good. And then point that knee to face down. Step your left foot between the hands, lunge. Inhale, both arms to the sky, high lunge. Good. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers. Shrug the armpits up, shoulders up, chest up and wide. Good. And then bow inside the front thigh, taking the arms up and over any amount. Good. So again, we get pretty comfortable with this action, right? Then I'm used to doing this. I've done it before. Where is your gaze? Getting slightly forward. Good. But now I want you to redirect your energy and come all the way back up to stand. So we don't collapse to the floor, but you got to lift back up again. Good. Take the arms back to the sky. Nice. And then right hand holds left wrist, please pull to your right, side body stretch. Good. Don't let your hips go out with you. So the hips stay midline. Don't push them out to the right or to the left. Good. Come back up to center, switch your hands and reach to the left. Good. Again, don't let your hips sway out to the side. So mark arms are up overhead. Yeah. Straight up and down. So shoulders over your hips. Good. Come back up to center, please. Release the hands down to the floor. Nice. And then take your left leg up and back to down dog split. Good. And then bring the knee forward towards your nose, armpits over your wrist. Shoot that left leg out to the right, behind your right wrist, onto the baby toe edge of your foot. And then left heel comes flat. Sorry, that's your right heel comes flat. Right arm comes to the sky. Open. Squeeze your arms towards the back of your heart. Squeeze your legs towards each other and lift from your pelvis. Lift from the center of your chest, from the back of your heart lift. Even better. Nice. Nice, Alana. Nice, Susan. Bring it all the way back, down dog split. You notice a theme here, right? Where I'm not letting you collapse out of the pose. I'm forcing you to go back into a upward position. Release that foot down, downward facing dog. Slide forward to plank. It's up to you to keep your energy elevated. Lower down slow, coming through knees if you'd like. Inhale, lift head, neck, and chest, cobra. Good, downward facing dog. That's the thing, is yoga says, here's all of these tools, but you also have to use them. And if you don't notice when your house is burning, then there's nothing yoga can do to convince you except say, hey, I've promised you that if you use these tools, you'll get to this place that feels uplifted, that feels enlightened. But you still got to step out of the burning house. Look forward between your hands, please. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Take both legs to straight, forward fold. Good. And then hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Nice. Right knee comes up towards your chest. Hug your right knee in. Good. I know you're all warm because the sweatshirts are coming off. Good. As you hug that right knee in, pull the top of your thigh back. Good. Top of your left thigh goes back. Now bring your right knee wide. Bring the bottom of your foot to the inside of your left leg for tree. Nice. Balance your hip points. So if one of them is lifted higher than the other, I want you to lift the one that is lower. Good. And if one of them is facing more out to the side, I can almost guarantee it's going to be the right one that's pulling too far to the right. Try and balance them. Bring the left hip to spin slightly forward or the right hip to spin slightly forward. Good. Arms to the sky. Good. And you let yourself be like a fancy tree and let your arms sway from side to side. And not just your arms, but your torso. Like you're doing that gentle side body bend, like you're reaching your whole torso to the right and then back to center and then all the way to the left. So don't just flail your arms to move them. Good, right? The tree pose is that I am one connected line of energy from my feet to the top of my head or the tips of my fingers. Good. Come back to stillness, please. And then spin that right knee forward. Good. Step that foot down to the floor. Step right back into chair. So plant the feet, bend your knees. Arms up alongside your ears. Good. And then take your hands back behind you. Interlace your fingers at your low spine in chair. Hug the upper arms. Draw your rib cage in. Beautiful. Now take your torso more parallel to the floor. Pull your butt back more. Yeah. Good. And now start to straighten your legs, taking your hips up towards the sky. Drop the head, forward fold. Take the arms up and over any amount. Good. And can you keep lengthening the arms and at the same time feel that there is this connecting, that you're drawing the shoulder blades around the back of the heart like they're cupping, not just squeezing, but cupping. Good. And then release the hands down to the floor, please. Right hand to outer left ankle. Left arm to the sky. Good. You can always watch your twisting, right? If that reaching for a deep twist doesn't feel good on the back or anywhere else, you can always place the hand flat on the floor center, or you can use a block. Good. Come back to center, please, and switch. Left hand to outer right ankle, right arm to the sky. Good. You are in charge of catching where your mind has gone and redirecting it back to something else. You don't have to change anything about where your mind has gone. You just have to turn it in the direction where it can still see, if not be there, at least still see where there's space or where there's something peaceful or uplifting. Release the hand back down. Good. Hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Nice. Left knee comes up and towards your chest. Good. As that left knee comes up and you're hugging it in, to send the top of your right thigh up and back. So you push your butt back, which is going to make you feel maybe like your shoulders are coming forward. That's fine. It's taking you out of a arched back or a leaning back. Good. Now bring that left knee wide, bottom of the foot to the inside of the right leg. And again, you make your choice about where you place the foot. If you place it really high and it doesn't give you any room to maneuver, maybe make a choice to place the foot lower. Good. Try to balance your hip points. So if one of them is hiked up, try and bring the lower hip up higher. Good. And then arms to the sky. Nice. And again, not to just move your arms. You're not one of those flaily inflatable things, but to let yourself sway from side to side so that you can actually feel that you are holding that steady place of balance, but that you're not stuck there. And that you can stay in that steady place of balance internally, even if you're falling. Good. This is what it means to really understand how to balance, is to be in this really fluid place, but steady inside. Nice. Come back to stillness. Nice to hear. Good. Spin that left knee forward and then step that foot down. Come straight back into chair. Plant the feet. Bring your hips back, knees back. Good. Beautiful. And then hands to heart center, please. Good. Prayer twist. Right elbow to the outside of the left knee, or right hand if prayer twist is not happening. Good. And then take your gaze down towards the floor. So again, you gaze at something steady, navel in. Step your right leg back behind you so you come to a high lunge prayer twist. Good. Beautiful. Nice, you guys. And then inhale the arms, release the twist, take the arms up to the sky. Reach back behind you, interlace your fingers. Send your chest forward, step up, warrior three. Good. Chest up, throat up. Where is your gaze? If you look straight down, it's going to pull the weight of everything down. And this is what we feel as our suffering, right? The weight of everything. So you start to become weightless. Why? Because you have the ability to uplift yourself. Good. Step back to high lunge, arms to the sky. Beautiful. And then release the hands down to the floor. Nice job. Step back, downward facing dog. Good. Take the knees down to the floor, please. Do some hip circles. So it does happen when we do a lot of balancing, because it is a tremendous amount of work on the legs, right? Nobody's pretending that it isn't. Is that we can get stuck in that, right? Having a straight leg that has to support us, is we get stuck in that really kind of fierce energy of, I've just got to hold this together, because that's often what balance feels like. Move your hips the other direction, please. So this is purposefully to take you out of that sensation of my legs have been locked in that feeling of I have to support myself. Because if we get locked into that feeling of fierceness, right, that pulls us away from peace just as much as anything else does. Good. Come back to stillness, please. Downward facing dog. Nice. Step or jump your feet back to the top of your mat. Nice. Standing forward fold. Bend the knees, drop your hips into chair, take the arms up. And then hands at your heart center, prayer twist. Right elbow outside of left knee, or left elbow outside of right knee, sorry. I always forget that's the way that I go backwards with my twisting. I don't know why. Good. So you're in the prayer twisting chair. Take your gaze down towards the floor, please. Good. And then you're stepping back with your left leg into a high lunge, still in the twist. Hold the twist. Nice. And do it without getting a grimace on your face. I know some of you are like, too late. I watched you make the grumpy face. Good. Then you can take your gaze back to the sky once you've stepped yourself back. If you want to turn your gaze, turn it. Awesome. And then unwind, inhale both arms up to the sky, high lunge. Good. Take your hands back behind you, interlace your fingers again, send your chest forward, step up, warrior three. Left thigh comes parallel to the floor. Nice, Emily. Good. Good, Kristen. Good. Hang on to it. Good, Laura. Nice, Alana. Turn those toes down a little more, Alana. There you go. And that's going to mean your rib cage has to turn a little bit more too. Your left rib cage has to spin forward. There you go. Awesome, you guys. Nice, Harriet. And then step back, high lunge. Inhale the arms to the sky. Good. And then hands down to the floor, please. Step back, downward facing dog. And then drop to your knees, child's pose. I do make the joke, and it's especially funny in this format because sometimes you're making the like fierce concentration grumpy face and you're like coming forward towards your camera. So it's like you're making a grumpy face right at me. And you continuously turn the mind in the direction of what is uplifting. Because what's so important in our practice is that we don't deny any part of it, right? That's the big illumination from that Buddhist story, is to just admit that the house is burning. You don't have to know why or how or what the solution is. You can just admit it's burning, right? The weight of my own thinking and my own emotions is collapsing me. I don't know how to live with it anymore. Just that acknowledgement is huge. So don't sweat it that the house is burning. The Buddhists would say it's always been burning. You can turn to that inner flame where you are then offering what is burning into refinement, into illumination, instead of just, it's destruction, it's chaos, feels bad. One more breath. Good. And then walk yourself back to hands and knees. Beautiful. Downward facing dog. Good. Take your right leg up and back, down dog split. Good. Bring that knee forward and wide for pigeon. Right knee goes towards your right wrist. Left leg slides back. Good. Turn your pelvis forward as much as you can. Good. And then walk yourself forward onto your forearms or fingertips or blocks or whatever elaborate setup you have found for yourself. Good. None of you have your animals with you right now, because otherwise I would say just set yourself up with your dog as your pillow and they'll be happy, you'll be happy. It's funny is that, why we don't hold our attention in one place very often is because it feels like it's a lot of work. It's exhausting to pay attention. It's exhausting to pay attention when we have so much response, we have so much reaction to every moment that it can't all be resolved. And when there's no resolving it, we just carry it into the next moment. So the weight of that, right? That's the image of a house that's been built on top of you. And that's where we are every day, right? It's just sometimes we're a little bit more intense because there's so much more to react to that isn't your normal. So much more to feel. And yoga reminds us that you can't hang on to it, right? The house is burning. You have to go into that feeling of collapse. And at the same time, know that as things are collapsing, they're changing. Your inner world can keep turning in that direction of steady. You don't have to know an answer. So those really simple practices are very powerful right now. Just the concept of Drishti. Where is your mind looking every day? Not just what your eyes are looking at. That's a whole nother practice. Where are your inner eyes focused? Good. Take one more breath. Nice. Then walk your hands back up, please. Sit towards that right thigh and swing your left leg around in front of you. And take your left thigh over top of your right back to Gomukhasana. Stack your knees. Or sit with your left shin in front of your right, cross-legged. Yep. So knee stacked on top of knee, like the, second pose that we did? So Carolina, not fire log, but knee on top of knee. There you go. Yep. And then forward fold if you are able. If not, fingertips right behind you. And if your mind is like, but we already did this pose. You could do this pose 20 times a day. It'd still be good for you. Right? That's part of the mind's craziness too, is it always wants something new. Wants things to keep moving. Don't give me the same over and over again. Or it gets bored with, well, I already did what I thought I could do with this. Revisit. One more breath, flex your feet. Good. And then walk yourself back up, please. Nice. Unwind your legs, roll forward to hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Believe it or not, this is gentler than what I had originally planned. So I'm doing my best for you, Linda. Left leg comes up and back, down dog split. Good. Bring that knee forward and wide, pigeon. Slide the right leg back. Good. Turning the pelvis. Walking the hands forward, finding your elbows, forearms, fingertips, blocks. I do often say in my head that if you were in my own thoughts and you knew some of the things that I planned, is none of you would come to class. Say no, thank you. That's not true. It's not true. As yogis, we are asked to be prepared for anything, prepared for everything. And prepared, not that you already know what it's going to be, so you've already decided how you're going to respond. We're asked to be prepared by never being prepared. By being in a state where we're not disrupted by whatever happens. So as it comes to us, we're able to simply be there with it. Right? And that's not an easy thing to do because that's not how our minds are used to doing things. We're used to having our reaction already sort of set in motion before we even realize that it's there. Then being surprised or not at the way that we feel, and then following that as our motivation for what comes next. So the mind never really has a chance to even examine where it is. So the yogis say you turn everything to that inner flame, you give it all back and say, let me illuminate this. Let me figure out what it is, refine what it is, and then see where I'm motivated to act, or if I'm motivated to simply be still. So it's that in-between place. And often we're right there standing in between, looking in what direction is there the uplifting, is there Brahman, the formless, the infinite. Where is that feeling that the whole world is not collapsing on top of me? Good, you guys. Take one more breath. And then start to sit towards your left hip, please. Walk yourself up first. Sit towards that left hip. Swing your right leg around in front of you. Stack the right knee on top of your left. Good. Again, knee over knee, Gomukhasana. Good. And then again, either forward folding here or fingertips back behind you, sitting with a straight spine, a long spine, lifting the chest. Good. Sending your seat down. So whatever position that you're in, I do want you to send your sit bones down and wide. Good. I recommend you make your practices right now simple because the world is already complicated. And trying to use complicated solutions to complicated problems just makes your brain explode. Simple. Where is my mind looking? And can I have it look at something that will give me a sense of clarity? Illuminate something, any part of me. Good. Walk yourself back up. Nice. Unwind your legs. Roll forward to hands and knees. Downward facing dog. Good. Look forward between your hands. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Good. Straighten the legs. So always when you're jumping, this is just me from an Ashtanga background, but always when you're jumping is the intention is really when you jump is for your hips to go really high, almost like you're doing, like you're going to kick up into handstand, like your hips go super high so that when your feet find the floor, you're coming straight into that forward fold, right? So we're almost never jumping forward to stay with bent knees unless we cue it as coming into squat. So you want your jump to be really buoyant. Just saying. Good. Take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Maybe we'll do a whole nother class that's just on jumping. That would be fun, right? Yeah, I see some thumbs up. Nice. We'll do a jumping class. Good. Take your right knee up and towards your chest, please. Good. And then top of your left thigh goes up and back. Take your right knee wide to the right, bottom of the foot to the inside of your left leg for tree. Good. Take your hands back behind your head. You're like, I did this pose already. I know, do it again. Get really good at it. Pull the tops of your thighs back. So if your left knee is buckling and that's part of your balance, I want you to lift a little taller, send the top of your left thigh back. Good, and then rib cage in. Start to let yourself lean back here into a little baby back bend. Lift your chest up, but keep the tops of your thighs back. If you push your hips forward too much here, you're going to fall. Good, you have to keep reaching long through your spine. Really good, nice, Alice. You got it, Joanne. Good, Laura. Nice to hear. Bring it all the way up, please. Swing that right knee forward. Good. Yeah, and then why not for fun? Send it straight out in front of you. Straighten that leg. Go for it. Pull the knee higher and extend out. Good, Linda. Nice. Arms to the sky. Good. Arms to the sky. Push your butt back. Everybody. Butt back and chest up. And then release that leg down. Nice job. Good. Shake it out. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's do the second side. Bring the left knee up and towards your chest. Good. Bring the knee wide, bottom of the foot to the inside of the right leg. Again, tops of thighs go back, hands behind your head. Beautiful. And you keep the tops of your thighs drawing back and you lift up through your side ribs. And then you start to lean back, coming into a back bend any amount. So you have to keep pulling up, right? Again, don't fall into that. I'm just going to push my hips forward to make it look like a back bend. Is keep pulling up, tops of the thighs back. Nice, really good. And then don't make a grumpy face. Nice, Linda. Nice, Laura. Good, come all the way back up, please. Nice job. Spin your left knee forward, pull it up and towards your chest. No hands, extend your heel forward, straighten the leg. Good, now stretch your arms straight up to the sky and let that be the reason that you push your butt back and pull up through your side ribs even more. Good, Harriet. Good, Kristen, good on you. Nice, and then release that foot down to the floor. Awesome, you guys. Take your feet nice and wide, turn your toes out 45 degrees, come down, squat. Nice. Now, are your hands at your heart center because you like them there or just because you don't know anywhere else to put them? Just curious. You're like, but this is where you always tell me to put my hands. Hug your knees in and draw your arms wide, press your elbows out. That's my point, right? Is that it's a perfect place for your hands to be. But if you're doing it just because, I don't know, this is always where I put my hands. I don't know where else to put them. Put your attention here, because wherever your attention is, your experience of that thing will grow, will expand. So if your attention is always on those difficult, challenging, reactive thoughts, is guess what's going to grow really big and be out of control? If your attention shifts to something, anything else, guess what will begin to moderate that feeling of chaos? The anything else that you're looking at. This is yoga. You have to pay attention to where your energy is going. One more breath. Good. And then fingertips to the floor, straighten the legs, turn the toes forward, bow. Good. It's just funny, those existential questions, right? I don't know, why are my hands at my heart? Who put them there? You put them there. What does it mean to you to have them there? Important questions. Take your hands to your hips, come all the way up to stand. Okay, if you have a block, grab a block. Should have told you to get one before, forgot. Place your block on the floor, flat, so that you can stand with your right foot on the block. And you're going to do tree pose, balancing on a block. Good. So right leg, standing leg, bring your left knee up and towards your chest. So step up onto the block first. Good. Left knee up and towards your chest. And then bring that knee wide, bottom of the foot to the inside of the right leg. And if you don't have a block here, then my suggestion is going to be, right, you don't have anything to step on, is that when you get into tree, you're actually going to play with lifting your heel. So rising up onto the ball of your foot. If you're on the block, just stay where you are. Don't make it crazy. Good. And then choose your favorite arm position. So again, if you like hands at the heart, because that's really your favorite, keep them there. Otherwise, try something else. Good. Beautiful. Nice. And then go ahead and spin that left knee forward. Don't put it down yet. Hands to heart center, everybody. Start to lean forward. Take your leg back behind you, warrior three, balancing on the block. Where is your mind looking and how grumpy is your face? Let your concentration face be one that includes a smile. Nice. And then slowly bring it all the way back up. Really good, you guys. And then step down gently off the block. You notice that you balance better when you stand on the block? Yeah. Balancing poses automatically start to unite the mind because we get this sudden concern that if I don't pay attention, I'm going to fall. If I fall, I might hurt myself. So it's that same kind of attention. This is Drishti. Wherever you put your attention is where that energy is going to go. And your whole self can unite inside of it or along that, right? Step up with the left leg, please. So this is the practice, right, of using Drishti, is that if I turn my mind in one direction and hold it there, everything else will start to either dissolve, you won't be thinking about it so clearly anymore, or it will become part of that one thing that you're focused on. Call that samadhi when we do it really well. Bring that knee up towards your chest, please, right knee up towards your chest. And then send it out wide, bottom of the foot to the inside of the left leg, tree. Good. Nice, you guys. And then choose your favorite arm position, whatever that might be. And if you're not sure, try different arm positions until you discover which one is your favorite. Good. Nice, you guys. Where is your gaze looking? Not just your outer gaze, but where is your inner gaze? Beautiful. Start to spin that right knee forward, please. Don't put it down. Hands at your heart center. Start to bring that right leg back behind you. Tip forward, warrior three. Again, don't drop your gaze straight down to the floor. Look slightly forward so that you have a lift to your chest, to the back of your throat. Then warrior three happens because you're lifting your leg, not just because you're dropping your chest. Your leg gets stronger. Your back gets stronger. You don't collapse inside yourself. Come all the way back up. Really nice. Good. And then step down gently off of the block. Beautiful. Good. If you have that block, turn it up just a little bit more. Come back to squat and place the block underneath your butt. Squatting, sitting on the block. You're like, oh, I like that. I'll move fast for that. Good. Good, Linda, if you want to sit in Baddha Konasana, that might make better sense because that's not going to be relaxing for you. Baddha Konasana is way more relaxing than standing in Goddess this whole time. Find your breath, please. Close your eyes. Good. Anju, can your feet come wider? Just curious. Even, nope. Okay. Yeah. Good. Eyes closed. There you go. That's a good variation. Can you go back to that inner flame? Instead of that image of, just a house burning and what's being destroyed, can you go back to the inner flame as something that's comforting? You come back to it when the outer world feels like it's too extreme. Or when you think you know what needs to be done, but you have no idea how to do it. Or when you're just really tired of being inside yourself. You ever have that? You're like, if I could really just turn off my own mind today, that'd be great. Tired of being me right now. And turn back to that inner flame and say, can you really turn this in some direction? This is a practice. Because none of those experiences are wrong. It's just part of having a mind. It's also part of having a mind being able to turn it to those places that are more spacious. So focus on the inner flame, not because it's going to give you a clear answer, but because it's a place to put all of your questions. It's a place to put all of your reactions, all of your emotions, all of your crazy thoughts, all of the things that you just can't hold up anymore. Put it there. And you let the mind have a moment of rest. Take one more breath. And then release your hands to the floor. Good. Bring yourself off of the block, please. Come on down to sit. Take your legs nice and wide. I thought about making you stand up again and then decided that was mean. That is not in line with it being Mark's birthday, and it was Kristen's birthday the other day, and too many birthdays for you to have to stand up again. Legs nice and wide. Good. Turn your belly towards your right thigh, please. And forward fold, walk over the right thigh. Good. Keep your left sit bone rooted to the floor. The only thing that gets easier in a yoga practice is we become less resistant to looking at the contents of our mind and saying, yeah, it's a mess in there. You become less resistant to knowing that there's what you can do about it and what you can't do about it, right? Having a mind means having a mind. You have the ability to turn its attention, direction, so that you're not just disrupted constantly by what happens outside. Come back up to center, please. Good. Turn yourself the other way over the left thigh, turning the belly, and walk yourself straight ahead. Good. Letting yourself really turn from the lowest part of your waist. Yeah. And this is a kind of stretch you got to give yourself time. If you do it half-heartedly, it won't accomplish very much. It's like any practice. If you do it half-heartedly, it won't do very much for you. So do your best to do things these days wholeheartedly. Make them simple things, but do them wholeheartedly. Walk yourself back up. Good. Bring the legs back towards each other, bend your knees. One more hip opener, fire log. So you're going to shins roughly as close to parallel to the top of your mat as you can. Stack right ankle on top of left knee. So it's ankle on top of knee, knee on top of ankle. If that doesn't work, you can take the legs a little wider so your heel is in the knee crease, or you can come back with right shin in front of left, cross-legged, feet flexed. Good. Nice. You can use props if you need to underneath that knee. So you can place a block there or a blanket or a pillow or whatever you got. Nice. Good. And then again, forward fold here if that's available, or hands can come behind you, chest lifted. Nice, you guys. Keep your feet flexed. Agni Stambhasana, fire log pose. To remind you that the house is burning. The weight of our own thinking, our own feeling, and our own reactions. That's what that is. It can feel like the whole sense of yourself is falling apart. And the whole world as you know it is falling apart. So we turn the mind back to Brahman, that the fire is Brahman, the house that is burning is Brahman, you who are in the house is Brahman, those who are doing the burning are Brahman. All of it is returning again to that space where something else can occur. We don't know what yet. So turn your mind in that direction of what is uplifting, so that when the moment to act is upon you, and it's different for everyone, that you know from a heartfelt place what to do and when to be still, and how to live with yourself day after day with the craziness of your mind. Good. Slowly walk yourself back up. Nice. Unwind the legs, taking that top knee wide so that as you release, the hip gets a little released. Take your legs out in front of you. Give them a shake. I'd love for you to take a reverse table here or reverse plank, your choice, so that you can bend your knees, plant your feet, hands behind you, fingers pointing towards your heels. If you're coming into reverse table, lift your hips up. Reverse plank is up on your hands, same way. Point the toes with the legs straight and lift the hips up. So you're making like a, full slide. Nice, Emily. Just keep your big toes together, inner thighs together. Good. Beautiful. And then slowly release back down. Nice, Molly. Nice. And then fire log on the second side, please. So left shin stacks on top of right, I believe. If that's not second side for you, then whatever leg was not on top, place it on top. And it can be ankle on top of knee. It can be heel into knee crease. It can be left shin in front of right with the feet flexed, cross-legged. Good. Use props as necessary. And then forward fold or stay upright, fingertips on the floor. And the power of Drishti is that when you unite your mind behind one image or behind one direction of looking, is that it takes all of the power of your mind, clarifies it. And instead of it being dispersed in 1,000 different directions because there's 1,000 different emotions and things that you're responding and reacting to, your mind becomes clear because it's only asked to look in one direction, and then the energy of who and what you are moves in that direction. Clear. So the practice of Drishti, and you can call it Dharana, it's almost the same, but Drishti, where is my attention focused? Where am I looking? Am I staring at the flames? Or am I looking to the space that is expanded and made clear to me as the walls come crumbling down? The yogis were asked to look for the space. Don't get distracted by the flames. Even as you feel that sensation of burning, don't get distracted by the flames. You are moving through. Walk yourself back up, please. Good. Unwind your legs. Stretch them out in front of you. Flex your feet. Good. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Paschimottanasana, press down through your thighs, press back through your seat, forward fold, reaching for your feet or your ankles, your shins, just in that general direction, forward fold. Doesn't matter what you end up reaching. Good. Then slowly walk yourself back up. Nice, you guys. So I feel that if you would like an inversion, I want to give you the chance to do an inversion. So that can be an inversion of your choice. If you have wall space and you want to do handstand or headstand, it's awesome. Shoulder stand is a great option. If you don't have that, you can even place a block underneath your seat, have your legs straight up, sacrum on the block, if that works for you. So find something that puts you upside down, even if that means just laying on your back, taking your legs up to the sky with or without a block. Good. Nice. And I will sing happy birthday to Mark. If you want to join me, you're welcome to. He won't be able to hear you, but 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mark and Kristen on Monday. Happy birthday to you. Yay. My daughter still will occasionally come up to me and out of nowhere say, happy birthday, Mama. My birthday was in December. Maybe for her, it's every day. Which is another great practice. Can you direct your mind to that place of celebration? The world is the way that it is, but lucky that it's you that's here. Because you'll do something great with it. Even though we would like for it to just be somebody else to handle it. Take a couple more breaths wherever you are. And then as you're ready, slowly begin to come down. Taking a moment, if you've been in handstand or headstand, to rest either in child's pose or sitting on your heels in Virasana. If you are in shoulder stand, bring the feet to the floor and just stay. If your legs are up, bring them down. Good. And then slowly start to find your way onto your backs. Good. Drawing the knees in towards your chest, both knees. Cross your right thigh on top of your left, stacking the knees. Separate your feet, reach for your ankles or your shins. You will perfect this pose. Gomukhasana. So switch your hands, Anju, so that you can, turn your feet away from each other. There you go. Probably feels really good at this point because you did a lot of external hip opening. So this probably feels like some relief on the lower back. Nice. Awesome. You guys switch the legs, please. Take the other leg on top. Reaching for ankles or feet. Knees are angled up towards your belly, low back anchored down to the floor. Good. Then slowly unwind the legs, bringing the right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg straight down to the floor. Come into spinal twist, bringing the right knee across your body. Right arm can extend wide or up over the ear. And the option here is to bend your left knee, so the leg that is extended, curl your heel in and reach for the foot or the ankle if you want a little quad stretch. Good. And keep turning your attention as often as it wants to go into crazy places. Keep turning it into the direction where there is space. The Brahman. There is space around what you are feeling, what is happening. Good. Slowly release. Coming back to center. And then switch the legs. Take the right leg out, bring the left knee in. Good. Come into spinal twist, taking the knee across your body. Good. Now the right leg that is extended, if you'd like, bend the knee, take your heel in towards your butt, reach for the foot or the ankle for the quad stretch. Good. I know. Relax into this. Don't think of it as a twist or a quad stretch that's really going to make something happen. Just relax. And then slowly release and bring yourself back to center, please. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Good. Like you're doing child's pose on your back, draw your knees a little bit wider so they point towards your shoulders or your armpits, and then hug your shins in. Using your hands at the front of your shins, drag them in, and then press your shins back against your hands. And at the same time, press your low back down to the floor. Relax your neck and your shoulders if you're working super hard there. Good. Beautiful. And then knees together, bring your forehead up to meet your knees, hug. And then slowly release, unwind everything, stretching the legs out in front of you, arms alongside you, palms up. Thanks, Mr. Beanstalk, for working the lights for Molly. Maybe you let yourself go back to that image of the inner flame. It's an endless source of light for when everything feels like it's impossible to see clearly. Or maybe you let your mind go just into space. Or maybe you just focus on this breath. Let that take you into Shavasana. Very gently bring the awareness back to your breath, letting your body begin to stretch and move in whatever ways serve it well. And bring the knees in towards your chest. Roll to your right side. And take a moment there before you begin to push the floor away. Come back to an upright seated position. Bring the hands together in front of the heart center, palm to palm, or whatever mudra serves you well. And so this metaphor of the burning house is the promises of the spiritual path is that you can get out from underneath the weight of it. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in the house, you can get out from underneath the weight of it, but you have to want to. And the promises that are given is that you can't ever go back to the house. That's the thing, is once you start to step out from under it, is it'll never feel the same way that it used to. So the practice is to smile a lot at what your mind is doing, because you know it's just a burning house. So you smile at it, and you don't let it pull you into a place where nothing matters, or where everything is too overwhelming, or where there's nothing worth getting up for. You smile at it. And you keep turning your mind in the direction of where is the infinite source of light? Where is there always space for me to try again, try better, to make a new experience, find the new experience of what is beyond the weight of that burning house? But you don't get it back. So smile a lot right now at what goes through your mind. Smile a lot at what you feel, not because it's fun, but because you can smile at it and move through it. And then turn your mind again to that inner flame. Turn it again to this breath. Turn it again to that feeling of endless space. So you'll know when it's time to be still, and you'll know when it's time to act. The confusion becomes more clear. That's the only reason to practice, not because life gets easy, but because we become clear. So get clear. Close with the sound of Om. Deep breath in. Sliding the thumbs up to the space between the eyebrows. Namaste, everybody. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week until I see you again. If you